Welcome to the studio at 50 Oliver. I'm Jason Daniels with Easton Community Access Television. And with me today is Clara Angelina Diaz. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Jason.
Oh, no problem. So I was looking over your website. We talked. You are a life business coach, speaker, and author.
That's right.
That's right. And you have a personal leadership workshop and book signing coming up?
That's right. Yeah, that's going to be happening next Saturday, February 9th, at the Quezet House. That's right next to the Easton Library from 10:30 to 12:30 p.m.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Well, I am a local author. I live right in Stoughton. And I published a book about a year and a half ago. The name of the book is Create Your Best Year One Day at a Time. And I published this book because for the past 9 years, I've been working with women specifically, women and men, but more women, on really helping them understand what leadership is, not just like in a sense of, having a position as a leader, but being a leader in their own lives. Really thinking about what it is that they want for their lives, what, trajectory they want it to, they want their life to take. And specifically, a lot of people come to me because, although they've had, really great corporate jobs, they've had, they've made good money, they still don't feel like they're really making a difference in the world, like they're not living their purpose. And I think so many people right now are really wondering, like, what is the purpose of their lives? And I believe that the purpose of our lives is really to step up to be the leaders of our lives, and to not just make a change in our own lives, but in our immediate community. And, now more than ever, that's possible, with technology and, having access to so much.
Right.
The problem is not like resources, it's about really using them. And so I help people really look at what it is that they really want to leave behind, different things that they want to explore. If they want to really make a difference in their community and their lives, I teach them different ways of, I teach them models of how to look at that, and make that simple. So that's like what we're going to do next Saturday. I'm going to take people through an exercise where I've created a model where they can look at different areas of their lives, in different ways that they show up as leaders at home, because we're all leaders. We're all making a difference, right? You're here at work, right?
Right.
And so I teach people how to kind of really look at different areas of their lives and how they show up in different ways that they can make a social impact by the way they lead their own lives.
Okay. So that brings up a question for me, or a few.
Sure.
So what do you think it is about people or society that people don't feel like they're in charge of their lives, or they don't have purpose?
I think it's many things. I think it's a combination of, one, the way you were parented, and also the kind of messaging that you have been receiving throughout your life up to this point that have led you to have certain beliefs about, what you can and cannot do. Yeah.
So where did this idea come from?
This idea of
writing a book about this particular topic?
Yeah, well, in my time working with women, coaching people, I came to become a coach because I discovered a few coaches, and I fell in love with what a person can do for another as a coach, to really bring out in you the best, to really help you carve out time and space to say, I want to work on a specific dream that I have, and really help you see that come to life. It's just amazing. So many women that wanted to, in my journey as a coach, wanted to come and work with me, but they couldn't afford to hire a coach. And so, I had it in my heart to say, hey, what if I could create something that I could give them and they can take that and coach themselves.
Right.
So I first created this audiobook as a way to kind of just test out the ideas. And it worked really well. So the audiobook is also available on iTunes and Amazon and every digital platform out there.
And it's particularly targeted towards women, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. But many men have also taken advantage of the positive words and the, I give a combination of deep questioning, guidance, poetry, affirmations in the audiobook with like some really like upbeat and relaxing music. And so I call it like coaching in a bottle. And
Okay.
so, many people have told me that, they've listened to it on their way to work to really help themselves feel more positive and lift up their energy, or on their way to like an interview where they really want to, really feel their best. Yeah.
Is this your first book?
This is my first book.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And did you have any mentors or anybody that had an influence in your life?
Oh, yes. I had many. So I was born in the Dominican Republic, and one of my mentors was, well, my mother, first and foremost. I mean, she was the best example for me.
Not everybody has that, so that's
right.
That's wonderful.
That's right. But my mother, she was in the Dominican Republic. She was an accountant for my grandfather's business. He had a shoe factory.
Okay.
And she was an accountant for him. And my other grandfather, so like my grandfather from my mom's side, he had this really interesting business. So I came to grow up around entrepreneurs, where he would purchase eggs from the market that had like a little bit of like, let's say like a feather on it or like some kind of little dirt. And he'll bring batches of them back home and wash them all and repackage them and then sell them to the local stores. And it was and so he raised 12 children with that business. My other grandfather was a shoemaker and had a shoe factory in the Dominican Republic. And so just being around them as entrepreneurs and seeing them create something out of nothing, for the necessity of raising their families, really inspired me. I also had one of my mother's best friends. She was my godmother, and she was just an amazing woman that just came from nothing and put herself through college. And then right now she's like the treasurer of the National Lottery of the Dominican Republic. So I've had firsthand experience of seeing people just come from nothing. And make something of themselves, make something great of themselves. And so coming to this country, I felt like, that was all I could do.
Okay.
And for me, writing a book was just like a dream come true that I had to make happen for myself.
All right. So tell me a little bit about how the book came to be.
Yeah,
and how you got it published.
Oh, yeah. So like I said, James, I first wrote the audiobook. And I put that out there. And then when I was out in the world with the audiobook, people were like, when is the book coming? When is the physical book coming along?
Right.
And so, for a long time, I cherished this vision of having a book where you can like actually write in the book. Really,
like a workbook?
Yeah, like a workbook. So
Okay.
it's both like, it's a combination of a guide, a workbook, and some poetry in a poetry book. And so it's all focused around you thinking about if you could achieve one goal this year that would make this the best year of your life, what would that goal be? Right? For some people, it means buying a house. For other people, it may mean healing from an illness. It could mean forgiving someone in their life that, they've held grudges for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
It can mean so many different things. But to give yourself the space and time to really think about that has proved to be extremely powerful for hundreds, now thousands of people that have read my book, that have taken my workshops. And now I get to do this book tour. But the idea of the book is to really help you think about that one special goal that you want to pour your energy into, that you know is going to make all the difference in your life.
Okay. And people kind of wrap their brain around one thing. That's
Right.
not overwhelming, I don't think.
That's right, James, because this is the thing, right? You're gonna.
Jason.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Jason, you're gonna live your life no matter what, right? Like you have to go to work. You gotta take care of yourself. You have to attend to your family. But if you have like one thing that is yours alone, right? That you're working on, be it big or small, it really shines a light and like brings more energy into all the other areas of your life.
Okay. Now, you said the book includes poetry as well.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about, I don't know, do you have any influences of poetry, or, what brought up the idea of maybe incorporating poetry. Into the book? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm an artist. I'm a creative person. And so I've written poetry for a really long time. And I feel that, one of the ways in the book that I talk to people about creating your best year is about connecting with your creativity.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm modeling that. There's so much that was inspired when writing the book that I had to put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how did where did you publish the book?
So I self-published the book, and it is available on my website, and it is also available through Barnes and Noble and Amazon. But
so is this a part of a larger tour for you?
yes, it is. It is. So the book has been published now for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And so what I'm doing is I'm doing these public talks, workshops, and book signings at our local libraries. And so the next one will be next Saturday, the 9th, right next to the Easton Library.
Right, over at the Queesit House. That's
right.
right. And that's a great space, and they have a lot of people that'll come through. So I have a feeling it'll be a nice, successful event.
Thank you. Thank you.
We were kind of going back and forth a little bit, and I know that women in business is a big part of your concentration and your audience. So is there a specific challenge that you find with the women in business that they're confronting and you're helping them to tackle?
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, my focus is really helping women to really awaken to their power, to create, to make change in their life. And to start businesses is a big thing because, economic freedom is huge. If you have money and you have cash, you have options.
Sure. Right.
And so that's big for me. And so one of the biggest challenges, that I see for women, not just in starting a business, but just in life, is really having confidence in themselves. And so I think, there's a few ways to gain confidence. Which is what I talk about in my book. So it's really to think about, what's important to you and really give yourself, the space, the time, and the energy to think about what is like one project or one thing, one change that I want to make in my life or in the life of my community or the people around me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And empowering people with small businesses is so important. Like you said, to the community. It's not just about themselves, but it's actually about giving back to the community as well. Not to take away anything, but I did want to just share that recently I attended a conference myself, and one of the important aspects within the conference was equity and searching for equity. And so in the entertainment field, they have an initiative that says 50-50 by 2020. So they're trying to get women in representing women and celebrating women in leadership roles in the entertainment industry by 2020.
That's
sort of
right.
balance that out. And so I see that as an extremely important initiative, and I applaud you for sort of making that effort.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to think of myself as being part of that movement. For sure, because it's not just, about empowering women, but it's really about uplifting humanity as a whole. And so if I'm not well, if I'm well and you're not, I can't be 100% okay. That's just, as much as we want to ignore, the people that are around us that are not doing as well as we are, we have to all be doing a little something to bring us to equity. Yeah.
So do you, what other aspects what of culture, you talked a bit about your family, but
Yes.
have you drawn inspiration from? Because you're talking about really, really big ideas here. So I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, well, oh my
what's
gosh,
behind that?
I am I'm an avid reader. And so, like I said, I also had coaches myself. So the first coach that I had was more of a spiritual coach. And so one of the things that I really came to understand in life is that so many times we're waiting for things to change outside of ourselves, right? But we don't want to change ourselves. And so taking full responsibility for my life, with this coach saying, hey, like, you can make your life whatever you want it to be. When I've never heard that before. Before, for me, when I was growing up, my parents had the best intentions. They wanted me to be a lawyer. And I said, that's not what I want to do. I took my first law class and I said, no, this is not.
It's a very different path.
It's a very different path, and much respect to attorneys, because I actually work with many attorneys and coach attorneys. But the ability to give someone permission to look for their own path in life, I think can just save people from many years of struggle and suffering.
Okay.
So that was that my coach. Then I had, there was another female coach that I worked with, and she was just a badass.
Oh, yeah?
And,
Tell me about this person.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So she's an anthropologist, PhD, and I'd never met a woman like her, and she was just an example. And I think that's so much of like what coaches and mentors can do for you, is just show you that it's possible. That, your dreams are not just your dreams, that there are probably people out there that have achieved them.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. So, are there any other thoughts or topics you would like to address while we're here?
Oh, I mean, I want to invite everyone to come, because I know that this is widely seen in Easton, to come to my workshop on February 9th. That's next Saturday. And I invite you to really think for yourself, like, what is that one thing that you want to achieve this year? And if you want some support with that, I invite you to visit my website. I have a lot of free resources and tools right on there that you could find helpful in your journey.
Right. And we'll have that down the bottom of the video.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. And I thank you so much for this time.
Yeah. No. So Clara, Angelina, Diaz, thank you so much for coming to the studio again on Saturday, February 9th, over at the Queeset House. You'll be there with a personal leadership workshop and book signing.
Yep.
The name of the book again is
Create Your Best Year One Day at a Time.
All right. Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And until next time.